Hello and welcome to Purpose PR Agency Radio. This is Portia Hargrove, PR, and I'm here today live with Author Freda Camille. Purpose PR Agency, we are here to connect you with CEOs, celebrities, influencers, motivational speakers, and inspirational authors. Today, our special guest is Author Freda Camille, and we have a moment today that we want to just move in and celebrate a beautiful life that has passed away this morning. There's no other greater singer than Aretha Franklin, so we just want to take a real quick moment and just pause and honor the Queen of Soul. Hello and welcome again to Purpose PR Agency Radio, where we connect you with CEOs, celebrities, influencers, motivational speakers, and inspirational authors. Again, today we are here with the amazing author, playwright, public speaker, and poet, Miss Author Freda Camille.
Hello, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
You have so much going on, Author Freda Camille.
Yeah, I'm just trying to stay busy, try to stay relevant,
You are extremely relevant, and you have a lot of people following you.
Yeah.
So we're going to ask just a few questions and let people know what's going on with Author Freda Camille. If for those who don't know Author Freda Camille right now, let me just give you a quick overview. She is originally from Jersey City, New Jersey, and she lives in Delaware. Well, I should say the northern part of Delaware, Newcastle, Bear, Newark, wherever. She's in the she's in the vicinity of Newark, Delaware, but she has touched a lot of lives through children and her writings, her play. She's just done so much. She's been able to speak on different radio interviews and share her testimony and her story. She's a godly woman. She's extremely humble, and I'm blessed enough to call her my friend. So today I wanted just to introduce to those who don't know her and to those who do know who Author Freda Camille, let her remind you of her amazing testimony. She's also been able to reach in and allow certain people who didn't have a voice prior to hearing her story have a brave heart to stand behind her and tell their story. So welcome again, Author Freda Camille.
Thank you.
So you just came off of an amazing production.
Yes.
You had a play.
Yes.
It was a spectacular play.
It was an amazing play. It was called This Is My Life, Get to Know Me Before You Judge Me, co-written by myself and Robert Moore. He's originally from Philadelphia and he lives in Delaware as well. Basically, the play was about five main characters who were children who basically go into school and they kind of act out in certain different ways because of what is going on at home. Mm-hmm. Two of the young ladies that were in the play, their characters was based upon my life. Mm-hmm. We talked about Journey who lived with her single father and was being raised by him and his girlfriend. They had a really good relationship. A lot of her friends, her peers in school looked up to the fact that she lived with her father and her father was like, the king in her world and he treated like his little pretty princess. And at some point, there was a major situation that happened that caused her father to abandon her. Mm-hmm. So that was in reflection of my life. When I was 13, my brothers and I, we were staying with our mother during the time in the summer. And we ended up wanting to go home. You know, we wanted to stay with Mom a little longer, so we wanted to go home and get some more clothes. And it was like a little bit of conversation that was like not had with our father. We kept calling home, trying to see where he was, if he could drop us off some clothes, or if we can come over there and pick up clothes. However, he never answered the phone, and we never were able to get in contact with him. My older brother went and rode his bike over to the house, only to find out that the house was padlocked and all of our stuff was thrown in the trash. So when I was 13 years old, and my father actually abandoned us. Through the years, I mean, we still had maintained a relationship with our father. We still loved him and revered him as the king of our castle, even though we went through that in the past. There was another character in the play, Emily, who she lived with a single mom, and her mom worked really, really hard, and she worked 2 jobs, and then when she had her free time, she basically went out and she did her thing. So Emily was acting out on social media, you know, talking to different guys, and didn't realize that she was talking to someone who was older. And in the play, she found out that the guys that she was connecting with was actually her mother's boyfriend.
Wow.
And he eventually set up a date to meet her.
Wow.
And she found herself in a compromising situation, and she was raped. So that again reflects a part of my life, because when I was younger, 6 or 7 years old, and I was living in Jersey City, I was in a foster home, and that happened to me. Basically someone just took advantage of me being a child, and being the child that wasn't a part of the real family. So I just kind of was able to just mirror my life through these characters. They're testimonies that, the one testimony about my father, not a lot of people know about that. And a lot of people, once they saw it and they hear me talk about it, they're really shocked, because again, the relationship that I had with my father, I was daddy's little girl. He pushed me to the limit to do everything and all things to make sure that I would be successful. You know, he cultivated a lot in me, and, you know, he died when I was 30 years old. However, everything that he instilled in me from the age of 7 to 13 when he left is what kept me grounded. And, you know, so that was my part of the play. What my co-writer kind of added into is that he's a disciplinarian in school, and things that he sees is children coming in from various backgrounds. We had a young man who his parents were killed in a car accident in the play, and he ended up having to go stay with his grandmother. And of course, you see, nowadays, there's a lot of grandparents that are raising their grandchildren, and you see the generations repeating themselves. You know, sometimes you have the great grandmothers raising the grandchildren. And so in that story, the young man's grandmother ended up having to take care of him, and she took ill. So he ended up, there was a family from the church that came in, and they were Caucasians, and they ended up being Brandon's foster parents. So we just kind of gave different scenarios, you know, where the children were coming from different backgrounds, and then they take all of that into school and they act out, they disrespect their teachers, they're being judged. Again, it's called This Is My Life, Get to Know Me Before You Judge Me. You don't really know what's going on in children's homes, even some adults. A lot of times, you know, you can work with people who tend to you know, she gets on my nerves. You know, you don't know what it is about that.
What's going on in their life.
You try to figure it out, but deep down inside, a lot of us have been hurt. You know, we've been through a lot of traumatic situations in our lives. Some of us are experiencing post-traumatic stress and disorder, and we don't even know that. Because
let me ask you a question, because you're just starting to have my wheels turn. As a writer, I write, but I journal, but I don't write anywhere how you write. Okay, how to see your words come to life. To even hear if someone recited your poetry, or to play back your interviews that you've done, how does a writer become brave enough to relive through that, because you're living through you're telling your story to help heal other people. but you're watching the play, you're hearing your poems recited,
right.
You're hearing your interviews. Like
it's not as easy for me. I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, like I can say for the play, I've been writing a book, Open Wound, for like the last 6 years, trying to tell the story about my experience in the foster home, about my experience with my father, about, you know, my experience of the transition between foster home to my father to having to live with my mother, and all of the different things and changes that I went through in that short period of time. The book is not finished. It's still a work in progress. However, when I was asked to be a part of the play production, I felt like this was the moment to be able to seize this moment and take at least a story or two stories or whatever I could give to talk about what I've been trying to talk about. It's not easy because, again, you do relive. You know, you relive those experiences. And I actually had a small part in the play. So I acted as Journey's mom, and her name was Camille. But that kind of like reflected, you know, her mother had mental illness and my mom had mental illness. You know, she was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And for me being a teenager, like that in itself was enough, too much, you know. So to have to live through that, watching myself, reenact just different behaviors. It wasn't necessarily my mom, but just the behaviors of what I experienced. The stigma of being embarrassed by having a mother who was mentally ill, you know, back in the day, like 20, 30 years ago, right? You know, it's different the way we look at, you know, people who do have the illness. You're more accepted because there's more treatments out there. You know, the doctors know what they're dealing with. So it was hard for me. The last scene on the last day, I broke down, you know, I cried, and it was like, I don't know if that day was like the hardest for me because the play was done. And as long as we kept rehearsing the play, it gave me that moment of just reliving my life. And even though it was bad, it still gave me the memories of having my father alive, having my mother alive, and just thinking about, you know, the whole family unit. I wouldn't, you know how people say if you can go back and change your life, I wouldn't change a thing that happened in my life.
Because your testimony, your books, even this play, you open up many Pandora's boxes.
Yes.
And you talk about stuff, like you said, that are swept up under the carpet, especially culturally for African Americans and Latinas. Like, we don't want to touch or talk about mental illness in our family. And the fact that you were able to open that up for an open forum and discussion, you know, that my hat goes off to you.
Thank you.
Because, I mean, we all have it in our family. We just don't want to
We don't want to talk about it.
But, I mean, you talk about molestation.
Yes.
You talk about foster care. I mean, it's so many children that are in and out of the system.
Yes.
And, you know, you're a blessing that, you know, you were able to survive what what statistics say that you're supposed to be.
I can say that's only, you know, what I realized is, you know, the title of my first book that I wrote was The Storms Cause My Faith. And I can only say that everything that I've been through is what has given me the strength to be a stronger believer. And as my life continues to evolve, I continue to still go through situations that are not the greatest, but it still allows me to just believe in the Lord who has kept me from not being a failure and not being able to be that which I know He has called me to be, which is to be purposeful and to be who I needed when I was younger. You know, even for like my mom, you know, writing The Storms Cause My Faith, 20 years, next week would be 20 years that she's been deceased. Whew, that's a long time to be a young lady without your mother and still trying to raise.
But it still feels like it was yesterday, right?
Yes, and to be raising my own child, and she's now a full-grown woman, and just looking back and not really having somebody that I could say, hey, you know, Tay needs this, and she asked me about that. How am I supposed to be doing it, or am I doing this right? You know, God has placed other women in my life to be like a mentor. Right. However, you know, you want your own mom.
Absolutely.
You know, you want your own mom. So I'm just thankful to be able to share my testimony and just let people know that you can get through whatever the situations are. You don't have to look like what you've been through. You can be successful. You know, the rape, molestation, low self-esteem, just, self-hate, and I'm learning to love myself, and I'm just thankful. I'm thankful that God has given me this gift to be able to write, to be able to speak. And for a long time, people used to tell me when I was younger to shut up, but I found my voice. Right. So that's why I speak.
Well, we're going to take a quick break and just play, just a music selection. But let's talk about your books that gave you the confidence to, have that voice. And what, let's talk about what book puts you on the platform where people came to you and asked for your advice, because I know they have.
Yes.
So we'll be right back with Author Freda Camille after this song.
Fades from the year, but still I see my love and me together. Her face washed away by the salt of my tears, but I can feel so vivid still the love I felt for her. Someone's lying by me, but I'm all alone. Soon she'll have to say goodbye. Somewhere there's a heartbeat, the love of my own. Every day my heart beats with a prayer to find her. Take the time to play around, same game, it's up and down. Can't wait till I finally found the love of my own. Take time to play the field, take a chance, spin the wheel, till I find something real, a love of my own. Flashback to the memory, because the picture's so clear. The love high is so divine, there's nothing better.
Welcome back. This is Purpose PR Agency Radio, and I am your host, Portia Hargrove PR. Remember to tune in every Thursday at 7 p.m., where we are here with your latest celebrity, author, influencer, media personality, and CEO, just to drop a few jewels to help you get through whatever journey you're going through in your life, for your business, or whatever questions you have to go to the next level. Also, just want to let you know that this episode is sponsored by BB Digital Online, engaging websites, apps, social media, and other devices to help you and your business generate revenue. If you're interested in building a website, log on to bbdigitalonline.com and they will walk you through and help you get started on your website today. Again, we're here with author Freda Camille, and I'm so excited to have her here today because she has so much inspirational information just to share with my listeners today. So we were last talking about your books that placed you on a platform to have a voice. Tell us the first book, first poetry novel you put in place that gave you a voice and actually put people in a position where they wanted to hear more information from you.
Okay. So, as I said earlier, The Storms Caused My Faith was the first book that I actually had wrote. That was inspired by losing my mom when I was 23 years old. She died on the day of my housewarming party. So, the only way that I was able to get through dealing with the fact that she was gone was to journal and to just write. The Holy Spirit took over my pen, and everything was spiritual, inspirational, and motivational. So a lot of times people come to me and they say, they've read The Storms Caused My Faith and it healed something in them. They got their breakthrough. And it's funny because I look at myself as just being Little Free from Delaware, or Little Free, people know in Jersey. But, to hear somebody come and say how my writings, my life, my testimonies has impacted their lives and taken them to another place, to another level, that's amazing and it's awesome. But I know, again, it's nothing but God. And then, I shared in a co-written book, Things I Wish He Knew, was when I found the courage to go ahead and just, share with the world. One thing was, it's one thing to sit and have a conversation with one of your friends and say, when I was younger, I was molested or I was raped or whatever. And it happened several times from different people, or I was inappropriately touched by different people at different times. But that's a safe environment for me. But to actually, when I was asked to be a part of that project, God said I was going to write about my, my divorce, but God said, no, it's time to speak. And so I did it, and I shared, the story of being molested and wrote a letter of forgiveness to those who did all of that to me.
And that's the first step on anything, is forgiveness.
Yes.
And it's so hard for so many people.
Yes.
Just to even, I'm speaking from experience. I can be offended, or someone can hurt my feelings, and it takes me time. Eventually I will forgive you, but it takes me time.
Right.
But once that forgiveness is put in place, then a load is lifted off.
Yes, because forgiveness sets you free. You could be mad at somebody for forever and a day, but they're going on about their life doing what they do and doing it happily, and you sitting over here mad. So forgiveness definitely does set us free. God has given us the grace. He forgave us, and here we holding a grudge against somebody else, and it's not fair. So then the next poetry book that I wrote was to having to hold a journey through life towards self-love, and that just came from dealing with different relationship issues when I was married, being happy about love, being sad about love. I went through a divorce. I had married my best friend, so I thought, and then, something happened where, we could no longer be together, infidelity and things of that nature. So, again, I go back to my pen and my pad or the computer and I type, and out of my heart comes my emotions and my feelings. And it took me about 9 years to decide that I was going to release the book, because I didn't really want people to know or think that I was a failure. I can own being transparent, but in certain situations, I was like, I got to be in control of this. Like, I want people to know that I'm inspirational and I can motivate you to do this, that. But then when it came to my love life, I was like, there's no way, because everybody thought we were so great and, we were the Will and Jada of the family and all that. But then my relationship
everybody's
failed.
Relationship,
it's like I know. It's like, So, so I finally released it, and I released it with saying, it's not even about me failing. Everything that I've been through, whether it has been successful or a fail, at least I tried. And people can see that, and they're trying too. And some may be successful and some may be failing, but we can always have that opportunity to start all over again and be restored. So to having to hold is just one of those things. It has love poetry in it. It has a little bit of heartbreak. And then it just has like some days where, I'm a hopeful romantic. Some of my friends say, you're hopeless. No, I'm hopeful. It's going to come. And when it comes, it's going to be right. What God has for me is for me. So that's what that is all about. So then I finally released my children's book, The Key Is Me. Yay! Which
say it in Spanish, Freda.
La llave es yo. Okay? So The Key Is Me is bilingual. It's in English and then it's in Spanish. And each version has the opposite version in it. So if you purchase it, The Key Is Me, you're going to end up with La llave es yo at the end. If you purchase La llave es yo in the beginning, you're going to end up with The Key Is Me at the end. So just to give our children an opportunity to learn something different, learn a second language. One of my great friends, Brenda, she translated it for me, so that was just awesome. But the key is me just teaches children about, self-love and being confident and not worrying about what people are saying about them, but knowing who you are, knowing your own personal self-worth. And it doesn't matter how old you are, because you can be confident and positive and a role model even at 5 years old. I'm a pediatric nurse, and I see little kids come through my office like all day who are like so precocious, and they are just amazing. So we need to teach our kids young about self-love so that they'll know where to go when they're feeling, insecure at different times. Not that they won't have that, because you will. Society does allow us to feel like we're not as good as the next person. But if we start to speak life at an early age, we can catch our children at that time when they're ready to receive, and they'll believe it, and they'll grow with that knowledge to be purposeful in their own life and in their own peer groups and their own communities, and they can grow up to be great people. So that's basically what the key is.
Let me explain to you all how I am such a proud mama over here. I'm over here smiling, trying to contain myself. Not only does Freda heal people every day in her 9 to 5 as a pediatric nurse, but she heals through words, she heals through poetry, recently through her new play. But I'm over here glowing, people, because
so crazy.
I'm about to go there, but I'm over here glowing because you and my other guest, Councilwoman Rashima Dixon, are my major success stories, because you guys were the people that were over in the side, had so much to say, but just didn't say it. And so I did mention earlier that I was blessed enough to have Author Freda Camille as a client. So, just to see her just own everything I knew about her, just roll with all this information and just inspirational speaking and motivating. I'm over here tickled pink. I really, and she's laughing because she knows.
Get out of here,
she
Portia. Get your life.
She would always say, "I can't stand you, Portia Hargrove," but I'm over here proud. I can't stop smiling. So I'm going to ask you the ultimate question: how is it, or how was it for you, or just tell people who are authors or who are, I would say, kind of about their work shy, but not shy as a friend. Just tell them how it is and how necessary it is to have a publicist or to have a PR team to support your vision.
Well, I would just have to say, those of you who are shy, I mean, me personally, you hear me speak and all the time, people say, there's no way that she's shy. Like, she won't shut up. But I won't shut up because, first of all, I was told to shut up when I was a child, and that is what I fight against. I fight against myself. And someone told me years ago, like, Free, you need to get out your own way. And I didn't understand what that meant. And so when I look back and I do watch a couple of the videos that we shot together, and I don't like to watch them, but I do. I look at it and try to I had to become two people. I had to be myself, my personal self, and then I had to be Author Freda Camille. And when Author Freda Camille is out, she's supposed to handle herself and conduct herself in a way that Freda won't. And I had to get out of my way and just let the author in me, the speaker in me, stand up and rise. But it took a lot of prayer. It took a lot of God just allowing me to believe, letting me know that I need to learn how to believe in me. And if I don't believe in myself, if you as an author don't believe in yourself, or you as a speaker don't believe in yourself, you're not going to be able to convince anybody else to. So, having a team, it's amazing, because you have somebody around that can constructively critique, the things that you do, how you're working, what needs to be better, or someone that'll just say, hey, come do a podcast when you don't feel like it. And
you know what?
And you know what I'm saying? And you got to get up and say, you got to get out your own way. And God will say to you, he speak. I'm like, Jesus, listen, I don't feel like going out and talking to nobody on no podcast. I'll see them at the book signing on Saturday. And he's like, no, get up and go. So, it teaches you to really get out of the way. And when opportunity arises, you have to take it. You have to take it. Like, what else you gonna do? So if you don't do it for yourself, who else is gonna do it for you? So yeah, I mean, I feel grateful. I'm thankful.
Listen,
I don't like it, but I gotta do it.
I'm trying to express and explain. Like for those who are in need of services like this, what would you suggest? What did it the most for you? Was it your media training, or was it seeing how going on your media runs?
I think it was the media runs, of course, because I am the kind of person that I need to do it in order to do it. So sometimes I have to be pushed off of a cliff and fly. Other people, because of that, that's my personality. I know I'm undiagnosed ADD. Like, I'm all over the place and have always been. But that's what I needed, was just knowing somebody was there with me when I jumped. I didn't want to jump by myself. Because then I have nobody telling me, like, well, you kind of jumped off the cliff to the left when you really should have jumped to the right. Or maybe you shouldn't have jumped yet. Maybe you should have just stood there and prayed a little longer. So having somebody with you, it just gives you that extra comfort and confidence, especially for me, a person that dealt with abandonment issues, all of that, and not having people in my corner all the time, or at least thinking I don't have anybody. Because sometimes you have people who are in your corner and they're just praying you through your situation, and you don't even know. They're supporting you in a different kind of way. So I had to learn to just depend on my team, and if no one else was there to support me, it was okay. So it helped me to just believe in myself and that I can do it.
Well, your confidence is amazing. Let me tell you, I'm so proud. I can't stop smiling. And she kind of slipped it in, guys, about Saturday. Like, she tried to slide it in, but I'm gonna make you talk about it. So you do have something coming up.
Yes.
So tell us what's going on Saturday.
On Saturday, I will be doing a book signing at Mesia Books at the Chester Marketplace. And that address is 2300 West 4th Street, Chester, Pennsylvania, 19013. And I'll be there from 12 p.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. And that will be this Saturday, August the 18th, at the Mesia Books bookstore in Chester, at the Chester Marketplace. And then the following Saturday it's Sunday. On Sunday the 26th, I'm teaming up with Black Girl Magic of Delaware.
Oh, okay.
And so they're having like a give back to the community, back to school book bag drive and school supplies. So I'm going to be there with my table and, with my books. And that is on Sunday the 26th. And that starts at 1 o'clock p.m. at Kingswood Community Center in Wilmington. And then in October, I have...
You go, Freda Camille. You better go, Author Freda Camille.
I have a vending event that's going to be in the Poconos, but I can get that information like to you later so that I can, so you can... I have the address and all that kind of stuff. But it's going to be in the Poconos, and that's going to be fun. So, yeah, those are the few things that I have. I have some things that I need to get down on the books and schedule 100%, but... Gotta make sure you have products and all that good stuff.
Well, she has T-shirts. She has books. She has cute little tchotchkes for the kids. For the key is me.
Yes.
So give everyone your social media information.
So you can find me, Author Freda Camille, on Facebook as Author Freda Camille. You can find me on Instagram. I am Freda Camille. And then on Twitter. I think it's Author Freda Camille also, yes. Yep, so that's me all over the place, LinkedIn, Twitter, IG, FB. I have a like page. Go on and like it, tweet it, retweet, purchase some books. You can also find the books on Amazon. I have an Amazon author page, or you can just search me, Freda Camille, FredaCamille. So that's on Amazon. All the books are listed there, and I do have a website, which is fredacamille.com. So, yeah.
Or you could just Google.
Yeah, just Google.
Would you say just Google?
It's funny because I'm like, I don't know how I know I'm doing this. This is for the Lord. All of this is for the Lord. If I could have it my way, I wouldn't be doing any of this.
And I think that's what most people say. Like, when you're pushed out, when God puts you out on Front Street, it's for purpose and stuff. So I would be sitting in the house eating crabs all day, all night, not doing a thing. But I know that He's put me here for a greater purpose, and that is to help others go through and understand that they can heal. And things can get better in life, and it will. Some of us, we get upset about our lives when we like 10, 14, 20, 25, 30. But there's so much of life ahead of us that we can just keep trying, and we can always have a second chance and another chance and another chance, and things do get better. Because I graduated from high school at 17 on the day. I graduated in May of 1992. I'm sorry, May of 1992, with my 4-month-old on my hip. And I was told by my guidance counselor that I had made the biggest mistake of my life, and I wasn't going to be anything because I got pregnant when I was 16. And I had her when I was 17. However, when I look back on my life, and after losing my mom at the age of 23, that's when God hit the reset button and my life started over. I went to college. I got an associate's degree as a medical assistant. I had gotten married, but, we ended up getting divorced. But that's neither here nor there. I still did it. I went back to school and became a licensed practical nurse, and I wrote 6 books, and, and I wrote a play. Yay! I wrote a play. Listen, she's done everything.
So, that's it. You can always start over. So if I would have given up on myself at 16, I'm 43 today. I travel, I have fun, I love living my life, and I do it with my daughter, So, she was the best thing that happened to me,
I just want everyone to, if you don't know Author Freda Camille, make sure you go to all of her sites. She's such an inspiration and a motivational speaker. She laughs at me. We always talk, and I'm not even going to go there because we're about to wrap it up. But she knows. She goes to a book signing. Next thing you know, she done took over the whole show. And that is just we laugh at that all the time. So, but again, this is Portia Hargrove PR with Purpose PR Agency Radio. Again, we are every Thursday. We just tune in every Thursday at 7 o'clock. And you'll be able to talk to CEOs, influencers, media personalities, celebrities, motivational speakers, and like today, inspirational authors. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And to your listeners, thank you guys for allowing me to just speak across the airwaves. Feel free. You can always contact me on social media. You can inbox me. You can DM me. We can talk. It's cool. You send me an email. If you have something that you would like to discuss, and you've been through something that I've been through, and you want to share and you haven't had the opportunity to, hit me up. It's cool. It's all love. But I appreciate you, Portia. Thank
you. What's your one word that you would leave with your audience today?
One word?
One word.
Freedom.
There we go. You've just heard from Author Freda Camille. Again, this is Portia Hargrove PR from Purpose PR Agency. And again, this episode is sponsored by bbdigitalonline.com, engaging websites, apps, social media to help your business generate revenue. Log on to bbdigitalonline.com if you are interested in starting your own website today. Have a good day. Be blessed. And remember, whenever you walk in the room and walk out of the room, what anyone whispers is your brand. Be blessed. See you next week.